All right, let's dive into a really fascinating story today. What happens when you drop a super high value NFT into a 20-year-old online game that already has its own real money economy? Well, let's just say the results were not what anyone expected. And honestly, this comment right here, it pretty much sums up how things went right from the start. When the big announcement landed on the official forums, this wasn't just some one-off comment, this was the vibe. It perfectly captures that feeling of mass confusion as this veteran gaming community just tried to wrap their heads around what was happening. So, what was this wild idea? Well, in mid 2022, a project called the Eggs of Entropia was officially announced. It was basically a collaboration meant to build a bridge between the very established world of an old school online game and all the hype that was swirling around NFTs and play to earn at the time. And the two companies involved made for a pretty interesting pair. On one side, you had Engine, a modern NFT tech firm that was getting ready to launch a brand new marketplace. And on the other side, you had Mindark, the creators of a game that had been running its own real-world economy for almost 20 years. Way before metaverse became a buzzword. It was a real case of old school meets new tech. So here was the pitch, and it was pretty ambitious. They were going to create just 5 of these digital eggs. That's it. Each one would be connected to one of the game's planets and then auctioned off as an NFT. But the key here is that these weren't just supposed to be digital collectibles. They were pitched as actual business opportunities. And the developer, Mindark, was super clear about how they wanted people to see this. They really pushed the idea that this was not like all those other speculative NFT drops. This wasn't supposed to be about hype. These eggs were built to have a real, practical function, a utility that could generate actual income for whoever owned them.
Okay, so what was that big function? If you went out and spent thousands and thousands of dollars on one of these digital eggs, what did you actually get for your money?
So at its core, owning an egg basically made you a lifetime affiliate partner for the game. You'd get a special, unique link, and your job was to go out and recruit new players. For every single dollar those players spent in the game, you'd get a 10% cut of the company's revenue from them for life. A pretty simple business model, really, with this little mystery of the egg eventually hatching thrown in. And when we say real money, we mean it. The game has its own currency, called PED, and it has a fixed 10-to-1 exchange rate with the US dollar. You can earn it in the game and then literally pull it out and put it in your real-world bank account. So this wasn't about earning some volatile crypto token. We're talking about cold, hard cash. And here was the long-term carrot on a stick. The companies promised that eventually, when the game upgraded its graphics engine to Unreal Engine, the egg would finally hatch, and out would pop a totally unique, one-of-a-kind pet for the owner. But, and this is a big but, that update had no release date. It was a promise for someday in the future. So, what was the price of admission for this opportunity? Well, the starting bid for every single egg was 1 wrapped Ethereum. Back in August 2022, when the auction happened, that was worth about 13,000 US dollars. So yeah, this was a serious, high-stakes investment from the jump. Okay, so now let's move away from the polished corporate pitch and get into the messy, unfiltered, and frankly, pretty hilarious reaction from the people who actually played this game every day. And once again, the confusion was just everywhere. This comment from another player really drives home the point that this whole idea of an NFT tied to a blockchain that's also an affiliate link, it just completely went over the heads of a huge part of the player base. And of course, right behind confusion comes skepticism. This very sarcastic comment from a player named Katie Chalmers just shows how fast some people in the community made the connection to pyramid schemes or MLMs, which, were running wild in the crypto space at the time. The launch itself was anything but smooth. It was just one fumble after another. The funniest part was, before the auction even officially started, somebody accidentally bought a test NFT that wasn't supposed to be for sale. They even got a bug bounty for it. And then, when the real auctions finally kicked off, people immediately started reporting that they were having technical problems just trying to place their bids. But the players also started asking some incredibly smart, sharp questions that really got to the heart of the problems. They were poking holes in the idea, asking things like, hey, can I just refer myself and get a 10% discount on everything forever? They brought up serious issues like European privacy laws, and they worried this would just attract big money crypto whales who didn't care about the game. But a lot of them asked the simplest, most powerful question. Why not just give affiliate links to the streamers and YouTubers who are already promoting the game for free? Okay, now let's hit the fast forward button. A full year goes by, the initial hype is long gone, the auctions are over, and then one of the 5 super rare NFT eggs, the Calypso egg, pops up for sale on a forum. This is our chance to see how the investment actually paid off. And this is the big one, right? The $13,000 question. After an entire year of ownership, what was this unique digital business opportunity, this NFT egg, actually worth? And the answer is right there on the screen. The seller was asking for $13,000, basically trying to get their money back. But that last line is the real kicker. After 1 full year, the total income earned from this very expensive affiliate link was a big fat 0. Nothing. So why? How did it earn absolutely nothing? Well, the seller actually spelled it out in their sale post. Their strategy wasn't to go out and actively recruit people. No, the plan was to literally do nothing and just wait for that promised but still unscheduled Unreal Engine update to happen, hoping the value would just go up on its own. It was a completely passive, speculative bet. And get this, if you wanted to buy it, the process was the exact opposite of the easy, seamless dream of the blockchain. It was this clunky, manual, 4-step headache. It involved sending emails, getting the game developer involved to verify things, and then both the buyer and seller had to sign a formal legal contract, including an NDA. This was less like trading a token and more like transferring a small business franchise. I mean, the roadblocks to making a sale here were just massive. You had to trust some anonymous person on a forum, you had to navigate that ridiculously complex transfer process that needed the company's permission, and you had to sign a legally binding contract. It's no wonder the community was also worried about how non-transparent the whole thing felt. And this whole saga leaves us with one really fascinating final question. An NFT is supposed to be this clear, simple proof of ownership on the blockchain. But when that ownership is tied up with a manual approval process, a non-disclosure agreement, and a formal contract with a centralized company, it gets blurry. It really makes you ask, when your digital asset is secretly a business contract in disguise, who actually owns it? And what does that ownership even mean anymore?